Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investors channel. We're looking at a Ripple XRP interview, not directly with Ripple, but with Dan Tapiero, which is the founder of 10T Holdings, a digital asset firm. He calls XRP resilient. He thinks it's undervalued. He's held XRP, I think. So let's get straight into that interview, and I will give you my live reaction as we go through it. So thank you for tuning in. We cover all the XRP news on this channel. As soon as it comes out, we cover it and we give you the correct information. A lot of people out there are giving you false information. So if you do want to subscribe, please do that, and smash the like button. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes on this video. But let's start with the interview.
Solana focused person. I mean, as you know, the space can, carve itself off into its little groups. And the XRP army has been a thing for quite a few years. And I think there are quite a few people out there who are not part of that army who sort of don't believe in, XRP, mostly because it's central.
If you are part of the XRP army, please do hit the like button. There's a lot of people hating on XRP, and now they're looking like they are not looking very clever right now, are they? When XRP is the #2 cryptocurrency. If you don't believe me on that, there'll be a video right above my head over here. Do watch that, because you can say to friends that Ethereum is no longer #2. Because the correct way to calculate it, XRP is the second biggest market cap cryptocurrency. A lot of people don't want to admit it. Exchanges and reporting firms also don't want to admit it. And here's another example. So do watch that video. It will be right above my head there.
Centralized, and I think people have problems with the way that it was distributed over the years. But I would say, the one very impressive thing about XRP is just how long it's lasted, how many times it's come under attack.
Sorry, we've lost audio for just a second. Just make sure we are back.
Attacked them, and then they got taken off all of the exchanges. I think
I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, they were actually pulled.
I don't think this interviewer knows what she's talking about. What does she mean she vaguely remembers this? She doesn't even remember it. I'm sure a lot of us remember it when the SEC went after XRP unlawfully. XRP was removed from all US exchanges, a lot of exchanges around the world even, and she's acting like she doesn't know. Well, I for sure know. I know what happened to the price. It crashed. I know how it didn't manage to get a 2020 run because of that, and she obviously doesn't know what she's talking about regarding XRP, because if you are an XRP holder, if you've held XRP, you know what happened when the SEC went after XRP and Ripple.
Pulled off. XRP was pulled off the exchanges. I think it stayed on Kraken. It's one of my portfolio companies, and maybe Uphold as well. I can't remember if it was one or two, and then they bounced back. And I think that Ripple, it's this Lindy effect. The longer it seems to exist, the more sort of strength it gathers.
So it seems like he has been holding XRP. He is an XRP holder. He is talking about the resilience of XRP. And remember, XRP is one of the only tokens that has been in the top 10 cryptocurrencies for its whole lifetime. It's one of the only cryptocurrencies that was ever #2 on the coin market cap. It is #2 again now. A lot of people don't want to realize that, but according to their calculations, it was #2 as well at a certain point. This has happened again, in my opinion, now, but it's one of the cryptocurrencies that I think back in the top 5, if you want to go by coin market cap, we're back to #4. In my opinion, we're #2, but it has shown its resilience, and I don't think any other cryptocurrency has gone through what XRP has, especially the larger ones. So it is showing it's here to stay, in my opinion.
The greater the network effect is. And so I think it's pretty impressive. The first trades I did in cryptocurrency in 2012 were in Bitcoin and in Ripple at the time, through Uphold. At the time it was called BitReserve. So I understand people have different opinions about the fact that it's not decentralized. And I think people also question.
I think it is decentralized. Again, that is something that people say. There are plenty of nodes all around. So I definitely don't agree with the fact that XRP is not decentralized.
Whether, how much is it really used in payments? And I would argue, and I think, and again, I haven't done enough work on this, and I am by no means a big XRP guy, but I do respect it for its ability to survive. And I think what it's turned
I agree with the ability to survive, but I've just mentioned that.
itself into, the company, Ripple, has turned itself into, in a way, a holding company, a conglomerate of assets within the digital asset ecosystem. So I think there's value there, and I think there probably are quite a few people anticipating.
So I'm just going to flip to the XRP chart for just 1 second, because I can show you that resilience. I think this is what he is talking about a lot right now, is that resilience that XRP has demonstrated over the years. If we just go back and go onto a weekly time frame, you can see what XRP has gone through, and Ripple, the company, I mean, you can see that they sort of go hand in hand a little bit at certain times. I mean, when the SEC came after Ripple, they also came after XRP at the same time. And that had a major effect on XRP's price. I mean, you can see these massive dips here with the 2020 when that all occurred at the same time, 80% down. You've got it in 2021. You had that massive correction of 70%. I mean, look at 2017. You went all the way from $3. That's when it overtook Ethereum back then. You went all the way from $3.30 to the bear market low of around 10 cents. That is a 97% correction. And where are we again? We're back to almost all-time highs. We created basically all-time highs, and now we're holding $2. So the resilience is definitely there. And I think because we didn't have that bull market in 2021, this time round, I think we will, if the rest of the market continues going up. If we have a look at Bitcoin and that surpasses 100,000 again and starts its road to 200,000, I think XRP can be $10 by the end of the year. Again, nothing I say is financial advice, and that's not guaranteed, of course, and this is a high-risk investment. But I've got my take-profit zones at $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $11, and I think all of those levels can, in theory, be hit this year. We've got so much news, ETF-wise, Ripple-wise, new acquisitions, trying to take over Circle. That might come to, if there will be a video right above my head here as well about the Circle acquisition and how I think they're going to go for another bid. So much going on, and I think that's all going to play out in XRP and Ripple's favor. So let's continue with the interview.
Anticipating the XRP ETF lasting, also because it's made in America now, right? That's another thing we know with this administration. If it's made in America, so I think.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely made in America. That helps with the digital assets reserve, made in America, companies in America, and Brad Garlinghouse. We've seen multiple times. He's met with President Trump. He's got a good relationship with Trump now. So again, that all plays in its favor.
And you have to, take your hat off to Brad Garlinghouse for having gotten involved with Trump and still very involved, and I think has done a lot of hard work for the space itself, doing battle with the previous.
Yeah, I have to agree here. I mean, it's not only about him having good connections with Trump. What we've seen is Brad Garlinghouse and the Ripple team have taken one for the team. For the whole crypto space, they've gone against the SEC. They've been fighting that cryptos aren't securities, at least XRP isn't, which that law should apply to a lot of different cryptocurrencies that came under attack or were going to. Ripple fought the battle for all these different players without them actually having to go to court. And now we've got the law of the land that that XRP isn't a security. That appeal is coming to an end. They're working out a deal as well. So not only were trying to protect XRP holders, they were also fighting for the whole cryptocurrency space, and Brad Garlinghouse is an advocate for the cryptocurrency space. He doesn't want the SEC stifling innovation, and now we've got a new SEC chair, which so far looks like he's good for crypto.
Previous SEC administration, he's been a pretty strong advocate for the space itself. overall. So
You said your first trades were in Bitcoin and XRP, your first crypto trades. What made you interested in XRP all those years ago?
well, it wasn't anything more than it was just that was what was available, and it was
Just like everyone. I mean, again, so many questions you can ask this guy, and she asked the most obvious. Why did everyone buy their first Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Litecoin? Well, because it was the ones that came up first, largest market cap. Everyone got into crypto for a reason. Maybe they bought Dogecoin first because everyone that was the meme going around. I mean, it's a silly question, and it doesn't tell us
and it
much.
was super duper liquid. Sell Bitcoin or Ripple, and it was done on the BitReserve platform, which today is Uphold, the Uphold wallet. In fact, you can still buy gold to sell Ripple or the opposite on Uphold, and it's still my company that's behind that. So
Danny donated $2 through a super chat. Sorry, did I miss the interview with Ripple?
Hi, Danny. Thank you for your super chat. I will answer your question after the video.
it was extremely liquid, and I remember having a lot of fun with not a lot of money, just driving the price in the liquid markets up. It was trading at 1/10 of 1 cent. So getting it to 2/10 of 1 cent. I mean, today it's $2, right? So it was just
This has been
I don't know. It was liquid, and it had
This has
the
been a long
interface was actually really nice. You could see all of the amounts of Ripple that were offered.
So let's just skip through and let's see if there's anything more interesting.
Start the XRP army, Dan. You could have been the person to start the XRP army, Dan.
Yeah, and I was
Again, this interviewer is just not saying anything too
wasn't to be
interesting.
though. It wasn't to be. I wish.
I think everyone's doing just fine considering.
Well,
Yep.
I would just say the motto for me, at least the one that I tell my analysts, is it's never too late to do the right thing. Which means just because you didn't buy it at 1/10, 1 cent, doesn't mean you couldn't buy it at 1 cent or 2 cents or 10 cents. Meaning, if you believe
You're never too late to invest in XRP, in my opinion. I think it is very much it's very much the same with anything. The S&P 500, you can look back and say, well, I wanted to buy it at $100. I wanted to buy Berkshire Hathaway at $1,000. It's not happening, and it's not going back to those prices. Ripple's not going back to 1 cent. It's not going back to 10 cents. My strategy is to just keep dollar cost averaging. If it drops below my certain levels, where I look on the chart, I will be buying in at specific levels. If it drops 40% on a day, I'll see that as a buying opportunity. And if not, and if in 10 years' time am I still going to be buying XRP? Well, if I think the technology is still unmatched, if I see Ripple IPOing and I want to buy the company, I will buy it at those prices as well. I will continue dollar cost averaging. There's no point looking back 10 years and saying you're not going to be. I'm not going to buy because the price was so low then. But I'm going to put an end to this video because this was a very intelligent man. Unfortunately, the interviewer didn't help with the questions asked. I was hoping we would get some more news from it, but you can see big founders, big CEOs, asset managers, everyone is all on top of this XRP train. We've seen big banks, Morgan Stanley, we've seen Charles Schwab, all wanting to offer spot trading. XRP is going to be part of that. We've got trillions of trillion-dollar asset managers having customers. Literally, in Charles Schwab's case, I think it said 60% of people are looking to get into their sector. So let me just see if exactly, yeah, so we've got, we saw 400% increase in traffic recently, 70% of whom were prospects. So we've got money on the sideline, getting ready to pour in, and we are looking forward to that. But do stay tuned, we'll cover all XRP news on this channel. There will be a video up here for you to watch and one over here as well. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.